In the frozen wilderness of the Arctic tundra, life is a constant battle against the elements. The biting wind, the endless snow, and the sheer vastness of the landscape create a world where only the strongest survive. Among the animals that call this harsh environment home are reindeer, symbols of resilience and grace, perfectly adapted to endure these extreme conditions. One such reindeer, known as Frost, was a majestic creature with a thick coat that shimmered under the pale Arctic sun. Frost was a natural leader among its herd, navigating treacherous terrain and surviving brutal winters. But even the strongest are not invincible. Frost's life took a cruel turn when an invisible enemy began to sap its strength: barnacles and parasites. These parasites clung to Frost's body, feeding off its vitality and leaving painful wounds. What started as a minor irritation grew into a life-threatening condition. Frost's movements became slower, and its once lustrous coat grew dull. Alone and in pain, Frost struggled to keep up with the herd, each step a reminder of its waning strength. The icy wind carried Frost's silent cries for help, but the wilderness is an unforgiving place where weakness often goes unnoticed. Unbeknownst to Frost, a group of humans, a dedicated rescue team, had heard about its plight. Determined to save this magnificent creature, they prepared for a challenging mission. What followed was a story of courage, compassion, and teamwork as the rescue team set out to give Frost a second chance at life. Frost had always been a symbol of strength in the herd. With its powerful legs and keen instincts, it was often at the forefront during migrations, guiding others through the treacherous Arctic terrain. But over the past few weeks, something had changed. Frost's steps grew heavier, its movements slower, and its usual energy seemed drained. At first, the signs were subtle: small patches of irritated skin and occasional rest stops that Frost rarely needed before. The other reindeer began to notice Frost lagging behind, their instinctive understanding of weakness causing them to maintain their distance. This isolation was new to Frost, and it added to its struggle. The real enemy, however, was hidden beneath Frost's thick coat. Barnacles and parasites had attached themselves to its body, slowly feeding on its energy and leaving open wounds. These wounds, exposed to the frigid air, became infected, turning every step into a painful ordeal. Frost's routine became a fight for survival. The simplest tasks, finding food, keeping up with the herd, felt insurmountable. The reindeer's once shining coat dulled with dirt and matted fur, a stark contrast to its previous majestic appearance. Hunger gnawed at its stomach as the pain from the parasites grew unbearable. The Arctic, beautiful but merciless, offered no respite. Frost's strength dwindled daily, its body worn down not just by the parasites, but also by the unforgiving environment. Each night, the reindeer lay in the snow, shivering, unsure if it would find the strength to rise again in the morning. But in the midst of this bleakness, hope flickered. A local ranger patrolling the area noticed Frost's distress from a distance. While the tundra often hides the struggles of its creatures, this ranger was trained to observe the smallest signs of suffering. The sight of the weakened reindeer struggling to stay upright sparked a sense of urgency. Frost's condition was dire, and intervention was its only chance of survival. Alex, a seasoned wildlife ranger, was no stranger to the challenges of protecting animals in the Arctic. During a routine patrol on his snowmobile, he spotted Frost standing alone near a frozen riverbank. At first glance, Frost looked like any other reindeer braving the winter. But Alex's trained eyes quickly noticed the signs: an unsteady stance, patches of missing fur, and wounds glistening against the icy backdrop. Alex's heart sank. He knew time was critical for a creature in this condition. Without intervention, Frost wouldn't survive another harsh Arctic night. Pulling out his binoculars for a closer look, Alex confirmed his fears. Frost's injuries and deteriorating state were far worse than they appeared. Without hesitation, Alex radioed the local wildlife rescue center. "We have an emergency," he said, his voice firm but urgent. "There's an injured reindeer near the northern riverbank. Likely parasitic infection. We need a team out here fast." Back at the rescue center, the team sprang into action. Their leader, Emma, a passionate wildlife biologist, quickly assembled a crew. They gathered medical supplies, tranquilizers, a portable sled, and thermal cameras to locate Frost in case it moved deeper into the wilderness. Every member understood the risks. The Arctic was unforgiving, and even a small delay could mean the difference between life and death. As the team prepared, Alex kept a watchful eye on Frost. The reindeer attempted to move, but its legs buckled under its weight, forcing it to rest on the snow. Alex felt a pang of guilt for not being able to help immediately, but knew that approaching Frost alone could do more harm than good. Wild animals, especially those in distress, were unpredictable. He needed to wait for the team. The rescue crew arrived an hour later, their snowmobiles kicking up icy clouds as they approached Alex's location. "The reindeer is just beyond the ridge," Alex said, pointing toward Frost's last known position. "We need to move quickly." Emma briefed the team on their strategy. They would approach Frost cautiously to avoid startling it. A tranquilizer dart would be used to safely sedate the animal for examination and treatment. "We have one chance to do this right," Emma emphasized. "Let's make it count." As they headed toward Frost, the rescue team couldn't help but feel a mix of determination and dread. They had faced challenging rescues before, but the sight of Frost struggling to stand tugged at their hearts. For them, this wasn't just another mission, it was a chance to save a life. The rescue team moved cautiously, their boots crunching softly on the snow as they neared Frost's location. The reindeer was lying on its side now, its shallow breaths visible in the frosty air. Its body twitched occasionally, a mix of pain and instinct keeping it alert. Emma signaled the team to spread out, ensuring Frost wouldn't feel cornered. Alex whispered, "We need to act fast. Frost won't hold on much longer." Emma loaded the tranquilizer dart into the rifle, aiming carefully to avoid startling the animal. "Easy does it," she muttered, her gloved fingers steady on the trigger. A soft hiss broke the stillness as the dart hit its mark, lodging gently in Frost's flank. The reindeer flinched but didn't have the strength to bolt. Within moments, its eyes grew heavy, and its tense body relaxed into the snow. The team rushed forward, their movements efficient yet gentle. "Let's check the wounds first," Emma instructed. Kneeling beside Frost, she carefully examined its body. The barnacles and parasites were embedded deep into its skin, causing inflammation and infection. Open sores oozed slightly, and Frost's matted fur revealed the extent of its suffering. "This is worse than we thought," Emma said, her voice tight with concern. "We'll need to remove these parasites immediately." Using sterilized tools, the team worked methodically. They dislodged barnacles from Frost's legs and belly, their sharp edges leaving raw skin beneath. Parasites clinging to its wounds were carefully extracted, while antiseptic was applied to prevent further infection. Every movement was precise, with team members rotating tasks to ensure Frost received the best care. Despite the freezing cold, sweat trickled down Alex's temple as he held Frost steady. He glanced at the reindeer's face and felt a pang of sympathy. "Hang in there, buddy," he murmured. "We're not giving up on you." Hours seemed to stretch into an eternity, but finally, the last parasite was removed and Frost's wounds were cleaned and dressed. The team wrapped the reindeer in a thermal blanket to protect it from the icy winds. "We need to transport Frost to the sanctuary now," Emma said firmly. "It's the only way it'll recover." The rescue team carefully hoisted Frost onto the portable sled, strapping it securely. As they pulled the sled toward their snowmobiles, the Arctic wind howled around them, biting at their exposed skin. The journey back to the wildlife center was arduous, but the team pushed through, driven by the hope of saving Frost's life. At the sanctuary, the medical staff were ready. Frost was moved to a heated enclosure, where its vital signs were monitored closely. For the first time in weeks, Frost rested peacefully, free from the agony that had plagued it for so long. The team exchanged weary but relieved smiles. They had done everything they could. Now it was up to Frost to fight for its recovery. Frost's recovery journey began in the warmth of the wildlife sanctuary, a stark contrast to the biting cold it had endured in the Arctic wilderness. The reindeer lay on a soft bed of straw, its breathing steady but shallow. The medical team worked around the clock, ensuring Frost received the care it desperately needed. Emma monitored Frost's progress closely. The reindeer's wounds were healing, though slowly, and its body was beginning to regain strength. Each day, Frost was offered a nutritious diet, tailored to help it recover from weeks of malnourishment. Fresh lichen, hay, and nutrient-rich supplements were placed within easy reach, and the team celebrated each time Frost ate even the smallest amount. "Good job, Frost," Emma whispered one evening, watching the reindeer nibble at the lichen. "You're stronger than you think." Despite the visible progress, challenges remained. Frost's weakened immune system made it susceptible to infection, and its injuries required daily cleaning to prevent complications. The barnacle scars would likely remain, a permanent reminder of its ordeal, but the team was determined to give Frost a chance to return to the wild. Weeks passed, and Frost began to stand on its own. Its legs, once trembling and frail, grew steadier with each attempt. The team cheered every small victory, the first steps, the first full meal, and eventually, the first day Frost wandered around its enclosure without assistance. Alex often visited Frost during his patrol breaks. He felt a deep connection to the reindeer he had spotted that fateful day. One afternoon, as he approached the enclosure, Frost lifted its head and stared directly at him. For a moment, Alex felt as though the reindeer recognized him. "You're going to be okay," Alex said softly. "You'll be back in the wild where you belong." Emma and the team began preparing Frost for its return to the tundra. Physical therapy sessions helped it rebuild muscle strength, and they ensured Frost could forage independently. The day of release drew closer, and though the team was thrilled by Frost's recovery, they couldn't help but feel bittersweet about saying goodbye. On the morning of the release, the team transported Frost back to the same frozen riverbank where Alex had first seen it. The reindeer stepped out of the enclosure, its movements cautious but confident. For a moment, it stood still, sniffing the icy air. Then, as if a spark reignited within it, Frost bolted forward. Its powerful legs carried it across the snow, a blur of motion and resilience. The team watched in awe as Frost rejoined the wilderness, its figure growing smaller until it disappeared into the horizon. "Frost is free again," Emma said, her voice filled with pride. "We did it." As the team packed up their gear, Alex took one last look at the tundra. He felt a deep sense of gratitude, not just for Frost's survival, but for the reminder that even in the harshest conditions, compassion and determination could make all the difference. Frost's journey from despair to freedom wasn't just a story of survival. It was a testament to the power of teamwork, compassion, and resilience. The Arctic, with all its beauty and brutality, often hides the silent struggles of its inhabitants. Yet in this tale, one reindeer's plight brought together a team of dedicated individuals who refused to give up, no matter the odds. As Frost disappeared into the wilderness, its scars became a symbol of strength, a reminder that even the toughest battles can be overcome with care and perseverance. For Alex, Emma, and the rest of the rescue team, Frost's return to the wild wasn't just a victory for one reindeer. It was a reminder of why they dedicated their lives to protecting the Arctic's incredible creatures. This story reminds us all of the delicate balance of nature and the role we play in safeguarding it. Whether it's through small acts of kindness or coordinated efforts like Frost's rescue, every action matters. As the icy winds continue to sweep across the tundra, Frost now runs free, a living symbol of hope and survival. And for those who made it possible, the memory of this courageous reindeer will forever warm their hearts.